What's up, everybody? Is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Dr. Loomis to my Michael Myers. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. I don't know who that is.
He was Mike Myers's shrink in the Halloween movies. I've just started them. I'm hoping they become friends. I've not seen it. I hope Mike doesn't try to kill him. Dr. Loomis beats him or whatever. It's gonna be fun. We had to get back on this spooky train after two Jake ones where it's like Harry Potter.
Hey, that was a memorial, sir.
I know, buddy. But yeah, man, we talked for like 30 minutes before we got on here, so I don't really need to know how you're doing, but tell the audience.
I'm doing good. I do want to share one thing. So, our mutual friend Mike, good old Mike, my business partner at the shop,
Looks
uh,
weird without a beard, Mike.
he has been getting into modding Game Boys. So
I've
I gave
seen
him,
these.
yes, I gave him my Game Boy Color to mod, and I got it from him today because he and I went and saw Black Adam together, and I just want to show it off because it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the screen, like you wouldn't be able to see it from like on this Zoom, but he did a new fancy screen to where it's not like the old Game Boy Color backlit screen, but it's like a phone screen. It's like
Okay.
super bright and crisp. Uh, and then he put like a clean power regulator inside of it too because that screen drains batteries like a mofo. So I had to get some fancy batteries. But anyway, I started playing Hamtaro because that was one of my favorite Game Boy Color games, and it's been super fun. I like Game Boys.
Nice, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I was hoping you're gonna like pull up. Like I had Mike do it, and then his pulpit's just like destroyed. Like, and he fucking ruined it.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Turns out those Instagram posts are a lie.
No, it's fun though, and it's really cool to see like him get into it and then
Yeah.
like be good at it.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. That is like a dad hobby, 100%,
Yeah,
like a nerd dad hobby.
right.
It's like normal dads take apart cars, nerd dads take apart video game systems.
The kind of dad I aspire to be one of these days. But anyway, shall we get into the news?
Yeah, it was a slower news week, but start us up, buddy.
Sure. I'll save, like I want to talk about Black Adam, and I'll save that as like the last news thing since our news week is kind of slow. But speaking of DC movies, it was announced earlier this week, and we were just talking about this. Walter Hamada is no longer the president of DC Films. I'm sure you saw that too.
I did.
Any
Some people
thoughts
are
on that?
some people are very excited. I think it's one of those things where it's like the people that didn't like him had proper reason, but then there's some people that were like the writer for Shazam. They were talking about it and they're like, yeah, whenever I was writing Shazam, I had like Billy's mom just be dead. That was my original. And he's like, why don't you just instead have her be alive and not want him? And I'm like, that's too dark for this kind of movie. That won't ever work. And so he's like, just write it and see. And then he's like, and they're like, that's not my favorite part of the movie, and it wouldn't have happened because of him. And so it's like, I think Hamada deserves some, you know, yeah, because like like out of like just the crap that one person said and a couple other people, it's like there might have been reasons behind it, whatever. Um, yeah, it sucks, but I don't think Warner Brothers is going to be getting much better anytime soon, if I'm being honest, because it sounds like that's a dumpster fire over there right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Hamada might get a good job someplace else, but hopefully he's not the head of anything. I think that's where the big problem was,
Right,
too much stuff for him to do.
for
What about
sure.
you, man? You have any thoughts on it?
I mean, nothing you didn't say right there.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this rumor that There's no way that it's already happening, that they're already planning for it. So we'll start with that. Robert Downey Jr. is going to return for Secret Wars. The movie's not written yet. That's like 10 years from now. I don't think he's gonna, is that's anything. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen. It could, but it's also like I don't think it's planned yet.
Right. I mean, I could see it for sure.
Yeah. The one thing that I could see not happening, because it's like I see random clips online of like people on the Joe Rogan podcast and Hallie snoring. So that might pick up. But and he was on there and he was talking to Rogan. Rogan's like, "Oh, they need to bring you back." And he's just like, "I don't really think they should." Like he's sounds against it, but it's like also, I don't think they're trying to make another Doctor Doolittle movie, so he might be open to coming back.
Right. I mean, Disney can afford anything, so
Oh,
it's just a
yeah.
matter of the price, you know?
I like to think like they bring him back, but they have to keep like all the CG in the movie She-Hulk levels. It's like, yeah, Downey wanted $1 billion, so sorry guys.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we'll just keep on with movie stuff. Henry Cavill posted on Instagram today about Superman. Did you see that?
I did indeed.
So he said he just posted a little clip of it's just a picture of him as Superman, and then he talks about it. But the caption was a very small taste of what's to come, my friends. The dawn of hope renewed. Thank you for your patience. It will be rewarded. Hashtag Superman. So I already know Casey's very happy about this. I'm very happy about this. I was happy about that already because of certain events that took place in a certain movie. But it's cool. I hope that we get some actual news on a movie or movies soon. And yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I saw IGN, but I think it could be blowing smoke out their butt. But I saw an IGN where they were like, "Oh, it's been confirmed. We're getting another Man of Steel sequel, or we're getting a Man of Steel sequel." But no one else said that, so it might have been IGN just making stuff up, like they, taking stuff out of context and stuff. But okay, so Bernard is going to be in the Titans show coming up because Tim Drake's going to be in there and everyone knows Tim Drake's one true love is Bernard.
Who's Bernard?
That is his current boyfriend.
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
everyone is loving what Fitzmartin is doing. They're like, let's adapt this.
Yeah, definitely not the, decade-long relationship with Stephanie Brown. Forget that.
And if you're gonna be going the bisexual route, go with the ship that everybody that was shipping Tim as bi was going with, and just have him hook up with Connor. Because
Oh my
that's the
gosh, can
one,
you can you imagine the riots that would ensue on Twitter?
dude. I mean, that's the one that Judd Winnick tried to, like, he even tried to say like, oh no, I had them, because like don't remember the like issue, but it was like the two of them like putting on their clothes in a hospital closet, and Tim's like, this was stupid. He's like, yeah, I heard you. And it's like, and like someone's like asked Judd, what was the context of this, and he's like, oh well, we couldn't actually straightforward say that they were doing it, but this was their coming out of the closet moment for us as right as the creative team.
That's crazy. I had not heard about that.
Yeah, he's posted that a few times on Twitter, and I'm like, that's pretty funny. But it's also like, if it happened where I thought it was, where I think it happened during graduation day, which is when the robot Superman killed like multiple Titans and injured a bunch of other ones. I don't think that they'd be banging in a hospital, closet. That just doesn't seem in character for either of them. So if that's where it
Right.
was, boy, Judd, you need to Need to, worry about the characters a little
Right.
better.
Um, okay, so Geiger, which is the Jeff Johns and Gary Frank Image comic, is getting a TV show that was announced this week. Johns is going to write the pilot and be the showrunner. I don't know where this is going down, by the way. And then Gary and Johns will both be executive producers.
I have a feeling that's going to end terribly. Johns should not be showrunner of anything. He's kind of proven that. I mean, like I guess he's doing Stargirl okay, but his track record with everything else has been not good. So this seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah,
It's another one of those things where it very much seems like it's his ego getting in the way of actually making something good.
right. I mean, props to him for being able to do that with creator owned stuff, but the guy just does too much.
Mm-hmm.
He does way too many things.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of someone that doesn't do enough things, this is a good segue. Rob Guillory is doing a new book with Sam Lofty on the art. So we're not getting his amazing art, but still should be good. It's called Mosley. It's from Boom Studios, and I have the synopsis from his Instagram page. It's like AI rules the future, and the only one who can save mankind from the tech gods is a bitter old janitor named Marvin Mosley. All he's got is a bad attitude, a lot of baggage, and a big ass mystical hammer. It's action sci-fi, tons of humor, and a load of heart. And I'm calling it, this will be the funnest book of 2023. I mean it. So I'm pretty excited. I like Rob a whole lot. I think he's a very good writer. And also, if you are, in my opinion, if you are a good artist, you're gonna be able to write good stories. And I think he's gonna do that very well. You gonna check it out?
If I like the art, then yeah, I'm not familiar with that name, but that premise sounds super fun.
Yeah, I'm not either. But Rob spoke highly. I mean, he wouldn't lie to us via Instagram. So, and then Tynan is teaming up with Elsa Charretier for a short horror film called Room Service. Kickstarter is live right now, and it's already sold out. It sold out in the first, not sold out, but it did 100% in the first day. So, you could check that out. Like, I was really excited to see Tynan and Elsa team up, and then I was like, oh, it's a short film. I don't really care as much because I really like Elsa's art, and Elsa teaming up with Tynan for a story comic book would have been awesome.
Well, here's the thing, Casey. It is also a comic book,
Well, there we go. See, that's
only available through that Kickstarter.
yeah,
So the flippers are going to have a heyday with that. I guarantee you that comic blows up.
yeah, and I'm not interested enough in probably spending $45 would be my guess to get the comic, and I'm not gonna do that.
Speaking of comics, so Saga, which has gone on another short hiatus, sadly, will be
Yeah,
back in January. But it was announced today on both the cover and in solicitations that the book will now be $3.99 instead of $2.99. And I'm not that upset about it because really they were the last ones.
yeah, and I mean, I'm just gonna. I pulled up Flashpoint Beyond. This was a 3.99 book, and it's like not much girth to it. The Saga books are girthy, big, books. There's an ad on the first page. There's, I mean, we get more advertisements throughout. I'm going to try to see if I can pull up some more while I'm talking because it's just like, oh yeah, we're getting the same price for a book with 0 ads. Oh wow, this doesn't have near as many ads as I thought. Guess it's just that first Stargirl. Jeff Johns is like, nah, just plug my show. Yeah, because there's then just the one for Dark Crisis and that. So it's not near as bad as I thought, but still, all these comics have tons, have ads in them. They're not much girth, and it's like, oh, and if it's Marvel, it's gonna be like $4.99 sometimes for something that's really not worth it. So I am fine with this. Plus, it goes to the creators instead of the companies. So I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, that extra dollar will be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples are both deserve that extra dollar. So I, for me, if it came down to buying Saga or buying almost anything else, it's gonna be Saga every
Yeah,
time.
100%. Okay, since we're going to talk about a movie next, I'm going to talk about a trailer. The Quantum Mania trailer dropped. Did you watch it?
No, because I didn't know about it.
Oh, okay. You don't read my notes. But yeah, it looks pretty neat. Lots of neat visuals. We get to see the Kang gang show up. That's just what I call Kang the Conqueror. When I wrote in the notes, I'm like, that makes me smile, so I'm gonna keep that. So yeah, but it
I
looks
saw I
interesting.
saw the someone took a screenshot of Kang and posted it on Twitter, so I did see that picture.
Yeah,
It
it
looks like Kang.
yeah, looks cool. And then the dude that plays Kang, he's a very good actor. So, because like he was in Lovecraft Country, which so, but he's very good in it. So yeah,
And I was worried that they weren't going to go super comic book accurate with Kang's design, but they have according to that trailer,
yeah,
which makes me even more happy because I have been sitting on a graded copy of Kang's first appearance for almost 2 years now.
yeah,
And now it's like, okay, good. Now, it'll
yeah.
probably reach some heights there. Um, anyway, my final thing, like I said, I went and saw Black Adam with Mike today. So I thought I would share my thoughts. And, it wasn't too bad. It really wasn't. A lot of early reviews and critics were hating on it. But I've got a couple minor gripes and then one big gripe. But other than that, I was like, I don't get all the hate.
Is I have to ask, is your like gripe just like from it being a bad movie gripe, or is it like from you being a comic book fan gripe? Because it's got some of your, it's like one of your favorite teams is one of the main things in it. So,
Yeah, it's because I'm a comic book fan.
oh, okay.
Uh, the big gripe is Dr. Fate, sadly.
Really, everyone loves him.
I love him too.
Oh, okay.
He's good. The problem is he is depowered in this
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
And I
I
get it because it's Black Adam's movie, but in my opinion, if that's the case, then Fate shouldn't be in it.
In all fairness too though, with Dr. Fate, I mean, think about like hit like all the different times he's shown up. If you go with like the classic Fate, it's like, yeah, that one can't be in a movie because he had, Superman powers where it's just like, oh, this plot device I need to do. Okay, I can do it. But like some of these later ones where it's like, I'm trying to think of like the JSA that I had a bunch of. I think it was the Jeff Johns runs that I had a bunch of from Walden Books, where it wasn't can't it was Hawkman's kid as Fate. That one was pretty weak. You know what I mean? So it's like I can see how they could take the different things from the different fates and just make it kind of work how they want.
Right. I mean, he did some cool stuff, and when he used magic, it looked incredible. And, Pierce was a good Kent. Um, again, it's one of those things where, like, I'll try to keep it spoiler free as
It's
possible.
if it's a good movie, it doesn't matter if you tell a spoiler, unless you're like, it turns out The Rock is really Kevin Hart. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
No, it's just that obviously the JSA and Black Adam fight at one point in the
Yeah,
movie.
the trailers show
Right.
that.
And it's like, dude, in the comics, they don't need this whole team. Like Fate could do it. He
Yeah.
could do it. He could be enough to stop Black Adam. And you know, it's Black Adam's movie, so he is just unstoppable for the most part.
And
It just bugs me.
in all fairness, though, it depends on the way that, like, if we're going comic book logic on this, again, it depends on the version of Fate that they're using and, all that stuff. And then also the way Black Adam fights him. Because there was that one time where Black Adam got real pissed and just tore through like Justice League, JSA, all of that stuff. And just he can go, so it's just
He can. And I
but
would suggest, if anybody wants a really good Black Adam story, read JSA Black Rain. It's all about Black Adam and the JSA, and it's freaking incredible. But the other like minor gripe that I had as far as like comic stuff, uh, and this is spoilery, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. But
okay.
um, Amanda Waller is like in charge of the JSA.
Mm.
Like it's through like the Task Force X facility. And I'm just like, why? Why is Dr. Fate and Hawkman, which are like the two leaders, and then there's Atom Smasher and Cyclone that are like the kids that are
Yeah.
there. It's like Dr. Fate doesn't listen to Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
And it's
I
not like it's not like they had bombs in their necks. It's just Waller was like overseeing the group. And I'm just like, this is weird.
Yeah, I think those were reshoots. I think that's what I heard. So I think that's more of them just going, this is connected to everything, guys. That type of thing. So, but no, that is kind of dumb.
Yeah. Those are the main things. Like some other minor gripes, it just comes down to like the editing of the film, and I know that's because of the reshoots that happened.
Yeah.
But like some scene transitions just happen so fast, and you're kind of like, how did we get here? But
Hmm.
really, do I mean the action is great. You know how like with these DC movies, man, like the fight choreography and like the slow-mo parts, it looks incredible. I really
Nice.
liked it. Costumes are great. All the characters, like the JSA characters and the couple of like main characters from Kandak, are all very likable. Um and yeah, I think the humor hits too. Um They didn't have to try too hard to be funny or anything like that. And there's not like a lot of funny parts, but um I think it was solid. It was totally solid. So yeah,
Right on, dude. And
that's how I feel about it.
also, if you're listening to this and you want another Black Adam story, it's not 100% Black Adam, but 52
Yeah.
was a very good one. Did you read all that?
Not all of it. I've read bits and pieces.
Yeah. Just the booster stories?
Yeah, basically. I'm
No, the
familiar with the Black Adam parts though,
yeah,
because some of those covers are amazing.
the Black Adam stuff's really good, and there's like elongated man stuff in there, which is really, really good. So 52 in general, just really good.
And real quick, I'm talking about the post-credit spoiler for the next like 30 seconds. So skip ahead if you don't want to hear that. It's the part with Superman, Casey. We knew it was coming,
Yeah.
and it was cool. Like it was so short. But I desperately wanted more. But damn, was it cool to see Henry again. And I can't wait to see what comes next from it.
Nice, dude. I'm pretty pumped. Question, who's he talking to? Or does it show?
Black Adam.
Oh, he is? Okay. Because like I thought that it's like because the way that was described to me is he goes, "We need to discuss Black Adam." So then like, yeah.
They might cut it weird, but he says we need to discuss some things, and it like addresses Black Adam.
Oh, okay.
Because man, I said 30 seconds, so we're still talking spoilers if
I'll
you've skipped
put
ahead.
this in the notes. It's not
Thank
a big
you.
deal.
But Waller sends a drone to Kandak and is basically like, okay, you don't want to be in my prison, so Kandak's your prison. You step foot outside of Kandak, we're gonna get you. And he was like, there's nobody on this earth that can take me. And Waller says, well, I know some people that are from different earths that can take you. And Adam says, send all of them, and blows up the drone. And then out of the smoke walks Superman. And he's like, I think we need to have a talk, Black Adam. And it's just so it's perfect, dude.
Yeah,
It's perfect. You're gonna love it whenever you see it. And I
nice.
hope that you do see it.
I I
It's not
plan on
bad.
it. I plan on it. It sounds better than Ragnarok, so like, I actually do plan on seeing that.
Yeah, it's
So
infinitely better than Ragnarok.
yeah, because like instead of seeing Ragnarok, I was like, I'm gonna see the Dragon Ball movie, and there's no Dragon Ball movie out, so Black Adam it is.
Right. Or we said Ragnarok, Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
but yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's the end of the news, folks. Slash Jake talking about Black Adam. So now we're going to take our ad break and then we'll talk some comics. So we'll be right back. All right, dude. What is the topic this week?
You want to talk about Bigfoot? Talk about our opinions on the big-footed man, and I can tell you a few stories I've heard.
Yeah, go for
Okay.
it. Take it away.
Now, first off, do you believe in Bigfoot?
I mean, if I'm going to be honest with myself, no.
Yeah.
Do I want that to be real? Yes.
That's how I feel about ghosts. And I think like part of me thinks Bigfoot, there was a time when Bigfoot was probably real, but it's just harder and harder to believe that he or she is still out there. But the two stories I want to talk about, because there's like one just sticks with me that's so outrageous. And you're like, it can't be real. But when like, and everyone talks about the guy that this happened to, they're like, this guy, he's the most like genuine, like never lie to you type of person. And he's so kind. And, like all like this, like if he was a character witness and you're on trial, like this is the guy you want. And, but then like, and like after this happened to him, it fucked him up so bad that his hair turned white because you fucking shocked him so much. So the story is this guy, he got kidnapped by a Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot brought him back to his Bigfoot hut. And his then the Bigfoot wife is like yelling at him, like, why'd you, it's basically like, why'd you bring him back here? That's how it looks. And like the two Bigfoot kids are like, what the heck is this guy? And like he's there for like a couple days with the big feet, and then he finally just gets free and runs the whole way back to the place. And like when he comes back, his hair is white because he dealt with such a huge shock. And like he tells them this story, and it's just like, I mean, that's a really crazy way to cover up that you've been like dyeing your hair this whole time, you know?
Right.
And it was even before hair dye, so I don't know how he was doing it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do when someone you trust that much comes, says something like
Yeah.
that?
And like that's another thing too. It's like when Patterson Gimlin film, that's the other thing I'm going to talk about. It's like they don't, like a lot of these people that seem more genuine about it, they don't want to tell people because people will think they're fucking crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like Patterson Gimlin, like one of, like I think Patterson might have been the shithead of the two. Like Gimlin's still alive, Patterson died, but he was also like known to fake tracks and shit and do other stuff. But like he swears up and down that, oh, this thing that we caught on film, I didn't have anything to do with it. And then he took that to his grave, whether or not he's telling the truth. Gimlin, just to give a little backstory on him, he joined the Navy because he made an agreement with his friends when they were drunk one night. Such and such happens. We'll all join the Navy in the morning. So that happened. He decides to join the Navy. His friends are like, dude, we're not going to do it. And he's like, I agreed. I keep my word. That's this type of guy I am. And like, he's just like, gets like this straight as an arrow type of guy. He goes out there with Patterson, and then they both see Bigfoot and they get the video, and it's like, and he gets asked about it. He's like, Patterson might have like done it, but it's like we were 7 miles out in the middle of nowhere. And I think I would have known that someone was following us with a suit. And then like when they've updated the camera footage of the suit, like you can kind of like it's a very accurate suit as far as like body parts. Like it's the Bigfoot in it is called Patty because she's got big boobs that kind of and then like kind of swing, and like you can see musculature and the hamstrings and stuff. And then, but then like people will be like, one guy, his name's like Hieronymo, I think is his name, and he's like, oh no, I was the guy in the suit, but like his story doesn't stay the same ever. So like it's clear he's just making shit up. And then this other suit company is like, yeah, we made the suit. Then people are like, can we see pictures of the suit that you made? Like, nope.
So how do you feel about that one like ultra famous picture of Bigfoot?
That's the Patterson Gimlin film.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes. And so like it actually, I was always kind of like so on it, but then after hearing people like talk about just all the different stuff and like hearing people that make Hollywood suits that are like, I couldn't make that. And I'm supposed to believe that because the story is Patterson called and this movie costume maker company. So, be like a step up from Ruby's, calls them. They're like, yeah, we'll make you one. And they make him one. And then he like does add-ons to it to make it more Bigfooty. And then he then goes out there and shoots this video that, can't like people haven't been able to debunk. And I'm like, I'm supposed to believe that the people that are making stuff today are like, I couldn't make that, but Patterson could from a Halloween costume. It's
Right.
it's a little bit of a stretch.
From like Party City.
Yeah. It's like I'd be more apt to believe what he saw was a different animal that's not Bigfoot, like a fucked up bear or something. Like because so I'm gonna be going to Tibet now, talk about the abominable snowman. There was these footprints that people found where it was like these weird feet, and it had like a weird, and everyone's like, it could be a Tibetan blue bear, but its feet are too big. And it turned out what it was a Tibetan blue bear that was sick, and the way they walked, they would walk in their own footprints. So it made the footprints look even weirder, and it was a little bit sick. So I could very well see this thing that was out there being like a mangy bear, because like a lot of time when the chupacabras are around, it's like mangy coyotes. So it could
Right.
be something like that where it's walking like like a man or whatever. That's the only thing that makes sense to me if it's not a Sasquatch.
Uh,
But it's just like you hear stories from people that seem reputable, and it's like there's just got to be something. I really do think there's got to be something to it, but like ghosts, I probably will never 100% believe it's this until I see it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel you.
it's Halloween time. You believe in any of that? Because you probably believe in aliens, right?
I think that I have a hard time believing that we are the only thing
Yeah.
in the entire universe. I don't know to what extent I believe in alien life, but I mean, the term alien life is also pretty vague.
Yeah,
There's got to be
100%.
something else out there.
Yeah, I agree. Like I do have a hard time always believing that's like they're okay, but yeah, it's like I have a harder time believing that they just are coming here to shove stuff up our butt as well. A lot of people, they're like, yeah, I got probed by a bald guy. Like, you might not have.
I mean, you could have. It just
Yeah.
wasn't an
It's
alien.
like, I was at the Planet Fitness and this bald naked guy just started probing me. And then ghosties, you got anything on ghosties that you think?
Not really. So, like, my childhood home, I know that a previous owner died in that house. And so when I was a kid, I used to think that I would see weird stuff in the house. But I also know that I'm just a huge fucking baby when it comes to scary stuff,
Yeah.
that I'm sure I was just it was just my mind, because I was a scaredy cat.
Yeah, well,
I really I don't know that I believe in ghosts.
yeah, like that's the thing. Is like, so this is another podcast story, but there's this podcast listening to Astonishing Legends. They did that one on the exorcism, that I was telling you about, and they had this guy from St. Louis, because that's where the exorcism took place. He actually took, like, he does a radio show, and he took people to the exorcism house, and they're going to do a ghost thing, which it's like, first off, the exorcism happened, there shouldn't be ghosts there, like, just logically speaking. There was a demon that possessed this, or like this thing possessed this kid. They got rid of it, and it's not like the demon's like, oh, now I'm out of the body, now I'm just mess around this house, ha ha ha, like, that's not what's happening.
Just like closing the blinds.
Yeah. And like, the guy that owns the house now, he was like, I didn't, he had no clue what any of this was. And so then when the people were there, they like actually played audio, and they're all freaking out and shit. And it's like, that's because they have a belief in ghosts. They found out that this is the exorcist house. It freaked them out, and now their brain is playing tricks on them. That's 100% what it is. Because then, like, the guy that was telling the story, he was like, yeah. And then I look over at Tim, who's the guy that owns the place. He's just watching The Exorcist, laughing, because he doesn't believe in this shit. It doesn't affect him. And then also on Astonishing Legends, they did this, like, because they're like they became hardcore believers after this. They went to this haunted house, and they bought these special recorders. And this is like the thing that annoys me so much. These recorders, they're the ones that can catch ghosts talking. They're these special ones that you can buy. Only these ones work, but they can pick stuff up, and it just sounds garbled and like garbage. So there's something wrong with with these brands of these type of recorders. That's what, like, my brain automatically goes to. These recorders don't work correctly. And they're like, that's the ghost.
Yeah. Well, so like on TikTok sometimes, in between like the little videos that you watch, there's like suggested live channels. And I don't know why it's on my algorithm, but a lot of the times it's somebody that's live at a haunted house. And I'll click on one or two, and he's got all the equipment, and he's like, is it okay if I sit in this chair? And then like a big noise happens. And
Yeah,
it's just, he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. It's like, what, did you hear the ghost say yes or no? It's just a noise.
I know. Like, that's one of those things where I would, like, Bree says this is white person shit, but I 100% would go to a haunted house and like do that. She would never. She's like, because I brought that up to her. She's like, she first off says that's white person shit, and then she also says, I don't want a demon following me home.
Well,
And so I'm like, it's not like, I don't know. Part of me is like, I would love to believe in this crap. So if like I had a spooky experience, I could be like, oh, cool, this happened. So now when I die, I can haunt a house. Awesome.
and see, I don't know, man. I say I don't believe in ghosts, but I wouldn't go do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but if I don't believe, then it shouldn't bother me. But I know I would be scared. So do I believe? I don't know. You just wanted to do a bunch of extra editing, right?
Yeah. It's just like, it just will randomly cut away. My screen will just completely go gone. And then I'll click on the where, the link that I follow. And then it's just like, okay, we're going to try to reload Zoom. And then it pops back up, and I see your beautiful face.
All right. Well, was there any other do you believe in things?
No, we'll end it there and try to get through the comics so it doesn't fucking happen again.
All right. All right, welcome back, folks. If you'd like to hear Casey and I talk about, Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, whether or not we believe any of that stuff exists, we have a pretty fun conversation about it over on our YouTube channel. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And if you would like to take a picture of us where we're gonna be far away and like very fuzzy. We'll explain everything that we said and our feelings on all that while we're also very far away. You try to take a picture of us, but it's like out of focus the whole time. And also
Yes.
leave a comment down below. Like I would love to hear your guys' opinion on this stuff. If you believe in ghosts, if you've had a ghosty experience, if you've been probed, in a Planet Fitness bathroom, that wasn't an alien, just so you know. Um,
If you've been kidnapped by
but yeah, just like
Bigfoot.
leave us a comment down below. Yeah, that's a story I told Jake, not me specifically, but a person that happened way back in the day. But what'd you read, man?
I read Immortal Red Sonja #7, Moon Knight 16, Sonic the Hedgehog Scrapnik Island 1, Triskele #5, DC versus Vampires All Out War #4, Fables #156, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1, Nightwing 97, Thor 28, Public Domain #5, Midnight Suns #2, and World's Finest #8.
Nice. So I missed Midnight Suns and Thor,
Oh, that's
but
too bad.
I got Flashpoint Beyond, Crypt of Shadows, GCPD, The Blue Wall, The Flash, Rouges, Public Domain, and World's Finest. So I will let you go first because you got a bit more than me.
Yep, I'll probably do a couple at a time.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so first we've got Immortal Red Sonja #7. It's written by Dan Abnett and Luca Colandria does the art. And this was a super fun issue. They're in, a cursed fortress with a cursed Merlin trying to capture Red Sonja and eat her soul. Meanwhile, the Green Knight is fighting Lancelot outside. And the curse on Merlin gets broken. And she's like, Merlin, you got to break the curse on my chainmail and let the king out. And Merlin's like, okay. And meanwhile, the Green Knight explains to Lancelot that the king isn't in the chainmail. It's actually Mordred, which was a twist that I really didn't see coming because everything else is so damn cursed in this book.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it is Mordred, and he looks super cool.
Nice.
So next we have that to deal with, and I'm really looking forward to it. But this book was so awesome. I really loved it. I am going to give it a 10. I don't know if it's pick of the week, though, because I think I'm going to have one or two other 10s, but I really, really liked it.
It's like your choices for prom. You just had a bunch of 10s.
Yeah, I know, right? You being one of them.
Absolutely. That's the one you chose.
Next, we got Moon Knight 16. It's written by Jed McKay with art by Alessandro Capuccio. And this one was pretty cool too. So Moon Knight and then his friends, Soldier and gosh, I can't think of this gal's name. I should know it because she's been in every single issue. But anyway, they go and visit the Chinatown vampires. And while they're having a conversation with that vampire, who is like crazy cool, by the way, artwork is
cool.
very good in this. Hunter's Moon is out fighting that Sabretooth look-alike and the other gal. And anyway, the Chinatown vampires explain that that these vampires are after Moon Knight and his friends because Moon Knight's friend accidentally turned Soldier into a vampire, and now the vampires think that they're impeding on their territory. So Moon Knight's trying to work a deal out with the Chinatown vampires to take out this big bad vampire. And spoiler alert, Hunter's Moon seems to get killed by Sabretooth and the other gal, which I didn't expect because Hunter's Moon is kind of a baddie. But they get the best of him because he's got like a bunch of crowbars and other weapons like shoved into him. He looks like a porcupine, and then Sabretooth wannabe like breaks his neck. So I think he's actually dead unless
Yeah.
Khonshu brings him back or something like that. But it was a pretty dope issue, man. The only thing is like it was a lot of talking and the only action was like the little bits of Hunter's Moon. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10, but it was still really, really good.
Right on. Okay, so I'll start up with Flashpoint Beyond, the book Jake made me read and then stopped reading. This is by Jeff
Look,
Johns,
I will credit your account, Casey, okay?
Tim Sheridan and Jeremy Adams, with Zermanico, Mikhail Hanin, and Gary Frank on the art. It's like this is a star-studded book if you took Jeff Johns out, but it's also like the most like pointless book I've read. Like I it's just like, oh wow, look, we're gonna go stop all this Flashpoint, like Joker girl, Martha, she's like, we're gonna make sure all this stuff happens, and then Batman's like, give me a kiss, and then they made out, and then they saved that kid that was gonna be killed by Lady Two-Face, and then while this is all going on, Batman's fighting the time people and stuff, and then it's like, oh, they decide not to go back in time and they blow up the thing and they're gonna just be a family with Joker and Batman and the little Dent kid, and Dent kid's gonna be Robin, and Joker's just kind of in the Batcave stuck there. And then since Thomas didn't go in the past, he didn't break the time, and so now they're just stuck in the snow globe, and they're like uh the one kid, the coonskin cap, is like, the lights went out, what's going on, Rip? And Rip's like, please don't yell, Corky. And he's like, but we gotta get him back to the time lab, right, before Bruce Wayne screws the universe up. And he's like, no, why not? And then Batman goes, because my father proved you both wrong. Because
I don't
apparently
even know what you're saying.
should have read the book, I guess. But yeah, it's just, and then they're doing the time stuff, and then it shows a bunch of stuff that, like, I'm assuming it's supposed to be for the JSA book that Jeff Johns is supposed to be working on, but it's probably never going to come out because he takes too long. And then we get something where he's going to also work on the Watchmen, because you get this girl shows up and she's like, well, that's not going to work, and guess we'll have to find the Watchman another way, huh, Bubs? And it's got the little Osmandius kitty, and it's like, meow. So more Watchmen stuff going to be milked dry by Jeff Johns, and because why not? So yeah.
Alan Moore just reeling in his cabin out in the woods.
Alan Moore doesn't know anything about it. Though someone will ask about it, and he, like, because there was this like little bit of shit went on with people were getting mad because he didn't watch the new Watchmen series, and someone asked him about it, and he's just like, I hated it, like, and I didn't watch it, but I never will. People are like, why wouldn't he watch it? It's like, because he's an angry old man. Of course he's not going to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just such an unnecessary book where it's like they're building it up that, oh, this is gonna cause some problems, and it's like, oh, nothing changed. We might get some Flashpoint stuff in the future, but like, this is wholly unnecessary. It's not that enjoyable to read. It's just pointless. The art in it's good, so I'm gonna go probably 4.5 out of 10. I just kind of finished reading. I'm like, oh, okay. That was 6 issues of stuff that was very unnecessary.
What would you rate the series then?
Like probably a like 4. Like it's just like me. Like there's just nothing. You don't gain anything from it. It's just that it kind of ends with the regular Jeff Johns way of going, look at this other stuff we're doing. And that's why I stopped reading him after like a Blackest Night. And he's just like, look at Brightest Day. It's like I'd rather not. I just bought $200 worth of your books. And now you're building up Brightest Day? No. Give it time to rest, Jeffrey.
So, next for me, Sonic the Hedgehog Scrapnik Island #1 by Daniel Barnes with art by Jack Lawrence. So Sonic and Tails are flying out over the ocean and it's real stormy and they got to crash land on this island and it turns out to be the Death Egg. And Sonic blacks out and he wakes up and there's a bunch of like not zombies but like Frankenstein robots from like Robotnik's, empire after him and he's running around trying to escape them. And then who shows up? And nobody is excited about this except for me. But that is Mecha Sonic. And Mecha Sonic was in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and predates Metal Sonic.
Oh, okay.
Like he was a mini boss that you fight kind of late game. And I showed Mike a picture. I was like, dude, look, Mecha Sonic. And we both agree that it's just one of the coolest designs out of any Sonic character. And they just didn't do anything with him after Sonic 2. Super cool to see him in this. So Mecha Sonic's chasing him down, and Sonic's running through this abandoned Death Egg. And he gets caught, but then Tails shows up, and Tails is like, wait, no, they're all friendly. They're not badniks, they're scrapniks. And
Sonic just smacks him like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know, right? But there's another old character, and what's his name? It's E117 Sigma, which is the robot from like Sonic Heroes. I don't know if you played Sonic Heroes back in the day on GameCube. It's where you were like teams of 3 doing stuff.
I remember that. I never play. I only played it at Walmart when they used to have the pre-COVID games you could play.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, it was cool to see him. And they explained that it's Scrapnik Island and just a bunch of robots are living in peace here. And Tails is geeking out because he likes that kind of stuff because he's a big old nerd. And Sonic clearly doesn't trust Mecha Sonic, so there's some tension there. And then at the end, we see Mecha Knuckles, who is very much painted to not be a good guy. So I'm really looking forward to that next issue. But dude, for like a Sonic spinoff and one that's not the main writing or creative team that always does Sonic, this was amazing. So
Right
I'm going to give
on.
this a 10, and this will actually be my pick of the week because of
Nice. Nostalgia
nostalgia,
factor.
but it was done well. It was done
Right
very
on.
well. So I absolutely love this book.
Okay, so Crypt of the Shadows is the next one, and I'm gonna be really quick with this, but we have Al Ewing, Ramon Bax on one story, Rebecca Roanhorse, Jeff Shaw on another, Chris Condon, Fran Gallahan on another, Adam Warren, just Adam Warren, Chris Cooper, and Ibrahim Mustafa, Danny Lore, and Karen S. Darbo. And I'll be honest, I did not care for this really in the slightest. There's like a Moon Knight story, which was kind of neat, but it's also like it's another one of those ones where they're like, yeah, you're not gonna get the full story. You might get it some other place, but it's like you're not even writing Moon Knight right now. So I don't think you'll ever see what happens next and who this mysterious person is that was up in this building. And then there's a Morbius story that I just couldn't be bothered to read because it just bored me to friggin' tears. And then we also get oh, what's her name? The cool redhead girl that hunts monsters.
Elsa
Oh,
Bloodstone.
yeah, we get an Elsa Bloodstone story and Spider-Man's man spider in it. And she saves him, but doesn't have his mask on. He doesn't even try to cover up his face. When she's there, it's like that doesn't seem very Spider-Man-y. And then we also have a fun story that was basically X-23 fighting Man Thing. They started up, it's just like, oh yeah, the pheromones that Man Thing was giving off messed with, like how X-23 can be bothered by that. It messed with her. She started chopping away at Man Thing, and then that just made Man Thing like freak out. They started fighting, and since they keep regenerating, the fight went on forever until like several million years, and the Earth blew up. Basically, it just a never ending battle. It was pretty neat. It's cool seeing that, but really, this was just like them, like Marvel going, DC does this all the time, and the crowd goes mild over it. We should do it too, and they did, and it's still just about like the last DC one. It makes me go, I don't need to buy these anymore. So I'm gonna go 5 out of 10, and I'm being a little nice.
That's a shame, man. I actually picked it up. I just ran out of time to read it, but now you make me not even want to check it out.
You might want to check out the Moon Knight one so you can be like, oh, that's neat. And but then also be like, oh, this person isn't on the creative team. So what are they trying to set up that's never going to be touched again?
Right. All right. So next for me, I'm gonna be quick on some of these others because we are getting late and I still have
Yeah.
so much to talk about. Triskele, we've got written by Felipe Pan and Monoramas on the art. This I think is the best issue so far of Triskele. Everybody really comes together. There's a lot of cool magic and team building. And I like the world building as well. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And then DC versus Vampires All Out War, #4, written by Alex Packnadel and Matthew Rosenberg, with pencils by Pascal Quilano. And again, this is really good. This is better than the main story, in my opinion. It's just a cool random team of DC characters fighting vampires, trying to restore order to Earth. It's so fun. The art's amazing. I love the black, white, gray tone with reds as the only color. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And I'll do another one. We got Fables 156. It's by Bill Willingham and Mark Buckingham on the art. And it focuses on one of Big B Wolf's kids dealing with this guy that's just being a racist asshole, and thankfully gets put in his place. And then we get some stuff with Peter Pan and Tinkerbell being a douche in New York City. It's pretty cool, but again, I don't really care for the stuff that's in the modern day. I just like the stuff that takes place in the fantasy world. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Right on. Okay, so I'm going to talk about GCPD, The Blue Wall. And this is written by John Ridley. And I'm going to try to find was looking for the art and I'm having trouble finding it. But while I look for that, I will just say this book is a very well written book. And if you are the type of person, it's like, man, I really love the show Blue Bloods, or a TV show that's like cop heavy drama where it's like, oh yeah, oh here it is. It's just in very small letters and I'm too stupid to find it. But it was drawn by Stefano Raphael, and yeah, it's the art's kind of hit and miss in spots. It's very well written though. Some of the dialogue stuff is so, but it's just also like this is something that doesn't interest me. I was hoping it was gonna be more like, because this is very much heavy into the politics of being a cop, and not just like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, that type of stuff, and being defunded. It's also just like, um oh, the commissioner, I'm blank on her name now, but she gives a speech, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a very good speech. It's getting the press around her, and they're rallying. They liked it a lot. This one cop doesn't shoot this kid, and it's then like the media is like, oh yeah, it's like it's a lot of media relations and like trying to make the cops look good, and it's like this is the most like uninteresting stuff to me personally. When you could make a cop book, like I think it would have been more interesting if it dealt with the race in the precincts versus this, because this is just so uninteresting. So I mean, like I said, it's very well written. John Ridley did a very good job of writing it. It's just not something that I cared for. So I'm gonna give it
Sure.
a 5 out of 10. I think it does have an audience though. It's not like his Batman Future State, which was just all around bad.
Right on. I just don't like him enough as a writer to give it a chance, even though it sounds like something that probably is all right for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just knowing you, you might be like me and just be all bored with it because it's just it's just not that interesting. Like I don't know. Like I said, I think some people might like it. We're pretty similar on stuff, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
for sure. All right, so I've got Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1. It's written by B. Earl and Taboo with art by Juan Ferreira. The art is amazing. Casey and I both read Gotham by Midnight that Juan Ferreira did the art on. So it was very fitting for him to do this Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Like I'll just show you the opening splash page. Pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And then the whole thing is just filled with, kind of creepy art. Because Spider-Man is seeing some like nightmare stuff after seeing a rock. But yeah, it deals with Peter in LA uh, at this lab with this lady, and they're just trying to do some lab stuff. I don't really know what's going on there, but then Peter keeps getting these nightmare visions because of this rock, and then it turns out that who is behind all these nightmare visions but Demon Bear, and Demon Bear actually shows up at the lab with the lady and Peter at the end, where it's to be continued. I actually like this a lot. It's nice to read a Spider-Man book that's not by friggin' Dan Slott or Bendis, or has John Romita Jr. art. So maybe that's why I liked it so much. But genuinely, the story's very interesting, and I think Peter's written well, and the art's just a knockout. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10.
I think Taboo is fastly becoming one of your favorite low key writers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nothing that's gonna knock your socks off, but it's definitely like interesting and fun.
So he's the ham sandwich of writers. Then you're like, it's not gonna knock your socks off, but boy, will it feed you.
Absolutely. And really with Spider-Man, that's all I'm asking for right now.
Yeah. Okay, so next up it's Flash 787 by Jeremy Adams and Fernando Passarin on the art. And this is a filler issue. And I think you should have read it, Jake. I think you would have had a blast because I absolutely did. Basically, it's like multiverse wrestling shows up, and like, oh yeah, this is the most popular sport in all of the multiverse. They randomly showed up on Earth today, but it's like, oh yeah, don't worry, we evacuate the city while we fight, and then we fix it all up afterwards. And they do this big thing, and Flash helps the world champion uh, beat him, beat up the guy that he was fighting, and they accidentally become a tag team then, and they have to beat up these other people. And you know who shows up at the last bit? And this won't mean probably anything to you, but it means
Ooh,
something to me because I had his toy, Maul from the Wildcats.
nice. Okay.
Yeah, and we also get a little cameo from Lobo and oh, is it Booster Beetle?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah,
Blue Beetle, yeah.
yeah.
And she's there to, she's like they're both watching at a bar and they place bets. Dick and Babs is there, and that's one of the things that's kind of funny. They're watching TV, which it's like, when do you have time to watch TV, guys? Like, you're supposed to be saving the day. You guys both
Yeah.
have your own books. Come on. But Babs is like, Dick, shouldn't we go help? And then he's like, Barbara, by the time I get my tights, this thing's gonna be over. I hope. So I thought that was pretty good. And yeah, they do their big fight, they win, and then it's just like basically they have a bro moment, the champion and Flash do, where they're talking about how it's like you just need something to have as a hobby, because like you do stuff for your family, you do stuff, all this other stuff, like, like this is a really perfect bro moment. If they ever made this animated, it's a shame Randy Savage is dead, because Randy Savage 100% would have to voice this guy, just like he did in the Dial In for Monkey episode. But no, it's a great issue. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. It's my pick of the week. So yeah.
I always wish that he could have voiced the train in Adventure Time because I love
Oh
that
yeah.
episode so much. We love you, the train. Okay, so Nightwing 97 is written by old Thomas Taylor with Bruno Redondo on the art. This issue is it's fine. It's fine. Dick and Barbara essentially have to keep Maroni safe because he's gonna rat out a bunch of people. So they take him to a Batman hideout and they trank him. And it's kind of funny because they tie him up so he doesn't run away and they trank him so he stays out at night. And then they like go upstairs and bang. But in the morning, they're like, Dick's like, Maroni, how'd you sleep? He's like, well, not great because it only knocked me out for 3 hours and this place has ceilings. He's like, don't you guys ever sleep? So that was honestly pretty funny. But anyway, then Tom Taylor's like, you know what? This issue's pretty good. Let's fucking tank it real quick before we hit the end of it. And a taxi shows up outside of this Batman secret hideout in the woods. And who's in the taxi? Rick Grayson. You know,
Okay.
the character that is Dick and that also everybody hated. And that's why Tom Taylor took over the book to get away from that. I don't know. I'm not gonna grade it too low because it was like the last page. I'm actually gonna give this like a 7, which is maybe the highest I've ever rated a
I
Nightwing.
I don't think that's true, because I think early on you were like, I'm staying optimistic that this is gonna stay good, and then like now it's been tanked for you, so I think you're working your way
Well,
back up.
it's the highest it's been in a very long
Yeah,
time.
that's accurate.
And also pretty cool cover. Dick and
Oh yeah,
Barbara with the
they
skyline.
they don't miss with their covers.
Yeah, Bruno Redondo is amazing.
Yeah,
Um, it's just like, dude, we don't need Rick. Please make that not be a thing.
yeah. Okay, so my last of the books that we didn't read together, it's The Rouges by Joshua Williamson and art by Leo Max, and it's a very good book. They're finishing up their heist, and they're getting a big argument because crap hit the fan last time. They're figuring things out on how to get out, and talk to there's a big gorilla fight in this one. They're figuring, like I said, they're figuring things out, figuring out how to survive, and it's a really good issue. The art in it is fantastic. Like, I wish you were still reading this, because I know you read the first issue and you really liked it. Um, but yeah, there are certain things about it didn't make me happy, but from a storytelling perspective, I know why they did it. So like I can't just be like, oh, William said I'm knocking you points down for not making the story how I wanted you to. But
Yeah.
but no, I think this is a really good ending for the ending for the story and for the characters. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. And I really liked it. I think the series as a whole, I'm probably gonna be 9.5, 10 in that area.
Yeah. I mean, now that it's going to be collected soon, I'm going to pick it up and read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got 2. It's Thor and Midnight Sun, so I'll keep it brief because I know that you will read those. I wasn't expecting to like Thor because I didn't like the last one, but it was a lot more fun than the last one. Uh, you know, we get, let's just say the two characters on the cover might fuse, Casey, and it's
Do
just
they do a fusion dance?
I wish. Much like a lot of other Donny Cates stuff, it's like clearly Donnie read comics in the 90s because this is just like something he would have wanted as a kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
Um, so it's pretty fun. There's like a couple of new characters in it. Uh, and then there's a pretty interesting little twist at the end. I mean, it's not really a twist, they kind of build it up throughout the whole issue, but it's still cool to see at the end. So I'm gonna give it an 8. And then oh, I didn't say who that was by. It's Al Ewing, Donny Cates, and Salvador LaRocca. And then Midnight Suns 2 is by Ethan Sachs and Luigi Zagaria. And this is
Mario's
pretty
probably
fun.
pissed he's working on a book.
I know, right? Mario Zagaria. This is actually pretty Agatha Harkness heavy, but it's pretty cool. We get some flashback stuff with her, and then her kind of taking the zombie girl under her wing a little bit. And then everyone else that's involved in this title fights Doom. So that's always a fun time. And yeah, we get a Clea appearance and a nice little bit at the end. So pretty cool, nothing to complain about. I'm still in on this because Magic's in it and I'm hashtag hot for Magic. So um I'll probably give this an 8 as well. It's fun.
I know I'm gonna cosplay as it C2E2.
I'm gonna use that hashtag hot for magic then.
Okay, man. Well, you want to do public domain and then world's finest?
Sure.
All right. So, public domain by Chip Zdarsky. I thought this was a good issue. What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. The guy saving up all that money from signatures to then, pimp out
Yeah,
their little studio, I thought was super wholesome. And I'll say it was a mild twist that the other brother is like doing the finishes on the
yeah,
comics. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah,
Like,
I liked it a lot. It was a good issue.
like we said last with the last issue, I'm like, this is where the series kind of begins now, and this was like a really good point for it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I'm probably on 9.5. Like, it did drag a little, I thought, but like with a lot of the main guy just be like, I don't want to write comics, like that stuff. It's like, okay, we get it, Chip. We don't have to keep having him say this just about 30 times now. It's getting a little old.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's really, really good. So yeah, I'm probably at a 9.5.
Yeah, it's because of that reason that I'm at a 9 as well. But I mean, damn, if that's the only thing there is to complain about, it's a
Yeah,
good book.
for sure.
All right, which means we end on World's Finest number 8, which is written by Mark Waid with art by the incredible Dan Mora. Um, so yeah, I thought this was a really good issue, man. What about you?
Dude, I loved it. Yeah, there's nothing really bad to say. Mark Waid writes these characters very well. It's very interesting using this villain. Actually, I do have one part that I did not like, and I'll see what you think when we talk about it. The part when the kid wants to get the people out, like the way it's written or drawn, really like shown. I thought it was mildly confusing, where it's like, I'm away, and then he like sees the people surrounding the foot of the mountain or whatever where they're at, the miners are at, and then he sees all the burning bodies, and he, because he knows that they're gonna die if and he runs in there, and then it cuts to Superman. They're all walking out, but the kid's nowhere to be seen. I didn't like. I thought that, I don't know, the way that was setup, I didn't really care much for. I get what they were trying to do. It just didn't really work for me. But other than that, I
Well,
love
the kid is there when they're walking out though.
the. Oh shoot! I didn't even see them. Didn't even see him there. So never
Oh,
mind.
okay.
But yeah, that was like, well, because when I first read, I didn't see the kid there. I just saw the people like walking out, and Superman just being like, "Oh hey, they're alive."
Right. I
And
get
so
that.
yeah,
How about the next page though, where
yeah.
we get to see Dan Mora draw Blue Beetle?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
That's classic Mark though.
it's very also very Blue Beetle for him to be like, okay, you guys see anything else? And they're like, nope, we're good. He's like, you sure? I'm helping.
I loved it. It was great. I hope that Mark keeps peppering in these characters just for us to see Dan Mora draw them.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, it's this is a very, very good issue. I enjoy it, and I do love how Wonder Girl knows there's something up with this guy. Like she's got the intuition.
Yeah, for sure. I actually really like how Mark draw or writes the Titans.
Yeah,
Just good stuff.
yeah. Not gonna lie. Dan Mora could just draw everybody though. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean this book really is a powerhouse at DC right now.
Yeah.
So I don't have any complaints on it really. I'm gonna give it a 10. This will be my third 10 of the week. It was
Yeah.
really good.
It's gonna be a 9.5 for me just because it's like I said, I still don't really care much for that one panel, even though I was wrong.
Sure.
But what are you excited for in the coming days or whatever?
Well, I gotta say Action Comics. Um, let's see here. Probably Strange. Strange is super
Oh, I need to
fun.
put that on my list. I'm gonna redo my list and send it to you again.
Don't forget Thor and
For
Midnight
some reason,
Suns.
dude, I think I got that and I think I placed them down somewhere and I don't know where they're at. Cause like I vaguely remember seeing the Thor cover and then like it got moved out of my pile. So I'm gonna look around for it
Well,
first.
throw in your text to see if I charged you for it too,
Okay.
because I'll know if you bought it
Yeah.
anyway. And then the third one, um, man, I don't know. I guess just to say something, maybe. Oh no, definitely the Moon Knight annual because it's gonna have Werewolf by Night in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. How about you, dude?
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna go the new cat. The I think it's the final issue of the Catwoman series, which I'm very excited about. It's been awesome, so I'm pumped for that. Ultraman, and I would say Strange, but Jay Curry said it, so I'm gonna go. I mean, I'm not that excited about it. The Godzilla book because it's the best of Mothra, so it's just gonna be a bunch of comics I've already read and own.
All
Oh,
right, Fantastic Four.
yes, Fantastic Four time. So we're gonna finish up. I'm not gonna do Cyborg in this because it's like, oh yeah, Marv Wolfman. But we're just gonna go Aquaman, and this will be the last of these consultant things. So give me four creators that you want, help with an Aquaman movie.
So I think the very obvious choice is going to be Peter David.
Mhm.
Um, I'm also gonna say Cullen Bunn, which I know sounds weird coming from me, but he did this one arc of Aquaman that I really, really enjoyed before Rebirth. Um, have I used Jeff on
Yeah, I think you
anything?
did for Flash.
Oh, for Flash, you're right. That's a shame because really, of all the Aquaman I've read, Jeff's I thought was pretty good. I have to use them again, man. I know it's against the rules, but um, and then I'm gonna say probably Pat Gleason. He did really good artwork on I think it was the Will Pfeiffer run of Aquaman.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not an Aquaman head, but I know I liked Ivan Rice's, this
Mm,
the his art, and then I had to Google it, but Paul Pelletier did some art for it too, which I really like that. Um, Peter David is on my list, and then I'm just I'm at a loss for a fourth one because again, not a not a guy that's big into Aquaman. So I'm just gonna go with since Jake reused Jeff Johns, I'm gonna say, he reused one. I'm gonna reuse Ron Mars. Ron Mars can write about any character.
yeah, fair enough. All right, guys. And that brings us to the end of our episode. So thanks for tuning in. I know it was a pretty Jake heavy comic talk week, but appreciate you guys listening. And if you would, please go to facebook.com/Two Worlds Podcast, where we haven't posted in almost a year. You can also find us on Twitter, where we do post at 2_worlds_PC, and on Instagram, where we also post at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's 2worlds Podcast on YouTube.
Has our email gotten anything in a day or two?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, hey, guys, send us an email. We're lonely.
So
But
lonely.
yeah, give us a comment down below and tell us what our next Fantastic Four should be. Maybe we'll use it because, who knows? I run out of ideas a lot. But yeah, we'd, love to stay in chat, but Jake's gotta give me some psychiatric help so I don't become a murderer. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.